This story I'm about to tell you is going to make you feel very uncomfortable. However, you will learn a lot about yourself once you watch the entirety of this video. Now, before I get into it, I just want to make sure you understand that this is how someone used to think before they actually made a real change in their life. So I like to say that at the beginning before everyone starts to throw any judgment. And I'm not doing this to hear sympathy or pity or empathy or anything like that. I'm just sharing it so you can learn from the mistakes and the experiences like myself or people that I know have also made, right? So if you're in your 20s, maybe you're in your early teens and you're someone that's being affected by visceral fat, and if you don't know what visceral fat is, it's like, that difficult weight that you're trying to get rid of and you can't because of insulin resistance, but that's going to be for the end of the video. Then you're going to understand how visceral fat is going to actually affect your day in life and even go as far as to damage your day in life in 2026. So getting into it, I had one of my friends, right? He started working out, but the way he started working out was quite half-hearted. But he's someone that he loves women. He loves women, especially beautiful women, like any other guy does, right? But the only problem is because he has a mirror and because he kept looking at himself in the mirror, he never felt confident in himself because he kept working hard day in and day out. As he was telling me, he was working hard day in and day out. I don't know exactly what his eating regimen was like, but he kept telling me, yo, bro, I'm going to the gym, I'm working hard, but I'm not losing this fat. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not losing the specifically the stomach fat and the love handles. That was his thing. He was like, he doesn't mind having the arms that's a bit big, the stretch marks on his legs. He just wanted to make sure that he can lose the stomach fat. So that way, when he looks himself in the mirror, he can feel confident within himself. So when he approaches the girls or the girl that he likes, he can feel confident that if she does reject him, she rejected him maybe for other reasons aside from the way he looks. So because he wasn't losing the visceral fat, he never felt confident in approaching the women he found beautiful, right? Like he never felt comfortable or he felt like he was worth enough for a woman that he finds really attractive to be able to select him if he wanted to say hello, hi, introduce himself, utilize his communication skills. And again, this guy, handsome guy, no diddy. You know what I'm saying? I have to make sure I say that. You know what I'm saying? Good looking dude, great job, all of those attributes that you would presume is of quality when you are approaching your significant half or not, or the other. His dating apps wasn't really showing him a lot of love. And because of that, every time he would look in the mirror and he would just see that the fat wasn't moving, he didn't feel confident within himself to try and approach the girl that he found really pretty. Now, here's the part that was kind of a bit where it's going to make you uncomfortable. Because of that, he thought, you know what? I would rather approach, well, that's what he thought. He would rather approach a girl that weighs quite similar to him. So a girl that he doesn't really find attractive, like a girl that's quite fat. Let me just call it spade a spade. He wanted to approach a girl that he didn't find appealing, a girl that was quite big, quite fat, because he felt like, because he was quite big, he felt like he had a better chance to get with a girl like that. Now, hold your judgment. I'm not looking for a pity party. I'm not looking to hear about right or wrong. I would just want to talk about the experience and the mentality he was at during that time. Because he felt insecure about himself, he didn't want someone he found really attractive to reject him because it would just pile on to the other insecurities that he had already about himself. Now, I'm not saying what he did or what he's doing is good or bad. I'm just saying that this is just how certain people think. And this is just how certain people are. It is what it is, especially when it comes to people that don't feel confident within the way that they look. Now, because of this visceral fat that he had, and he felt like it wasn't going away. He felt like he was trying everything and it wasn't going away. He just found himself becoming a BBW lover. So I'm saying like well, not BBW, but anything that was above his weight. I can't remember how much he weighed, but I just remember that whatever he weighed, he would go for someone that was a bit larger than that. Now, the issue with that again was he was going after people he did not find attractive. Now, some of them he did grow to like because he thought they had great personalities, but he was never really attracted to any of them. And one in particular lady was this girl that he actually started kind of liking her later on. At the beginning, didn't really find her attractive, but hey, he's a guy that just wanted to find somebody where they can have friends with benefits. Let's say the best way to put it. So he found someone in a dating app. They became somewhat friends with benefits. Now the issue with that part is during one of the moments of benefits, he ended up having a pregnancy scare with this girl. And this is when everything came crashing down. And I remember he called me distressed, scared, heart beating. He's like, yo, bro, I don't know what I've done. Oh my days, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I got with somebody that I don't really find that appealing. Like someone that he wouldn't necessarily would be happy with having a child with him. And he was it turned like really, really distressed. He was crazy. He was crazy, like angry, man. He was angry with himself. And it's not to say anything towards the young lady at the time, and it's not to discredit her, but this is his side of the story towards me. And he was telling me how he really didn't feel good about himself, and he ended up getting with this person in hopes that that would kind of make him feel good about himself. And they were kind of helping each other because they were sort of going on this workout journey together. But at the same time, he also knew that this is not the time for him to have a child with someone he does not find appealing, and he was just only going after her, which is sad. He was only going after her because he felt quite insecure about himself, and he felt like she felt insecure about herself, and the chances of him being rejected by her was minute. It reduced to a low amount, a low rate. So anyway, he got a call. She told him that she missed her period, and for any person that's ever had a pregnancy scare, you know how scary that is, especially if you're not planning for a child. But on top of that, to have it with somebody that you're unsure of, I couldn't tell you what that means. Um, it must be definitely tremendously a moment where your heart's just beating and you don't know what to do. You don't know what the best choice or the best choice. You don't know what the best decision should be, right? So he was for a whole week, they were talking, having a conversation. So she said that she missed a period. He said, okay, I think the best course of action would be to take a test. She took the test, it came back inconclusive. So she wasn't really sure. So she ended up booking an appointment to kind of make sure, to find out, to kind of like, and he was one of those guys where if she was, and if she did have this child, he would have stepped up. He wasn't going to go nowhere. He's like, if it is what it is, I will step up. I will make sure I do the right thing for sure. But he wanted to just know that if that's the case, then it is what it is, and he can kind of just learn to accept it and live with it, right? So she went to the doctor. So for that 1 week when he didn't know what was the actual truth or not, he was in limbo. He was scared. He wasn't really eating properly. Funny enough, he ended up kind of losing weight within that week, right? Irony. So eventually, she ended up going to the doctors. She found out that she wasn't pregnant. It was just a pregnancy scare. She was just going through a lot of stress in her life at that time, and she had an irregular period menstrual cycle, if I can remember it correctly. But once he found out the news, there was he told me that he had a moment of relief, but he also had a moment of kind of acceptance that, so he was a bit sad, but it was also relief that it didn't happen with the person he didn't want it to happen with. And from that day, he kind of got to the point where he stopped actually going after people he didn't like. You know what I'm saying? He stopped going after people where he felt like because of his low self-esteem, he would go after someone he presumed may also have a potential low self-esteem, and he decided to actually go and do everything that he can, to fix how he thinks, to have a better approach, to be the better version of himself, to lose the visceral fat. And this is when I kind of told him about like insulin resistance to kind of look into it. Speak to your GP about that. Maybe your body may have a high amount of insulin in there, and this is the reason why you're not able to lose all the weight that you want, regardless of how many steps you're taking, regardless of how many calories in and out you're doing. Um, he took the initiative. He learned more about it, and there's videos I've done, and you can find information online. He learned a lot more about insulin resistance, and on top of that, what he then done was apply that, and also start to fast and do workouts that actually help him to not only to lose weight, but to kind of gain more energy, learn more about himself and about discipline and how to be motivated and the meaning of what it is to be disciplined and how to feel confident within yourself to just go after what you want. You know what I'm saying? The main thing was for him to learn to be able to go after what he wanted. And he did just that. Um, Long story short, he ended up finding someone that he was actually happy to wake up and being around. Yeah, they did have a he did have a kid that he was looking forward to. Kid you not, true story. Um, and that was a while after him doing the work on himself, learning his communication skills and becoming a better version of himself. And I say that to say that when it comes to how you look in front of the mirror and what happens when it comes to the dating life, you might find yourself not going after who you feel like is best for you or who you really want, and then losing yourself or being afraid because he was afraid of being alone. And you end up being in a position where you're afraid of being alone so much, especially when my friend had a lot of rejections on the dating apps, because sometimes that's where a lot of people tend to meet instead of face to face in real life. Because of the amount of rejection he got, he just felt like, I'm just going to count my losses and I'm just going to pivot and just do things that I necessarily don't want to, but it might get him to kind of at least not feel like he's alone or be lonely. And you might end up in a position where you're in that same mindset in 2026 where, because you don't feel confident within yourself, and the confidence it can be seen in a different realm, like different plateaus. It's not just a monolith. Like confidence, it can be confidence with your communication, confidence with how you look, confidence with how you feel, confidence about your work, confidence about what you're studying, confident like how you dress and so on and so on. My friend went and done the hard work. Another time when I was talking to him about it and we were having conversation, it wasn't from a position of judgment, it was from a position of understanding and seeing why he thought how he thought and what was the best way to kind of approach what he felt at the time was the issue, or what he felt at the time needed fixing. And when it comes to you as well, when you're looking at how to approach how long it takes you to lose the weight, especially if it's coming from visceral fat, which is coming from having a high amount of insulin, you really want to make sure that you focus on the mental aspect of it, the psychology aspect of it, how your moods get triggered, things that you want that's not happening as fast as you want them to, you know. But yeah, so all in all, things ended up working out well for him. I did help him with like his training program because I do like workout plans, and then I did help him out with his eating regime as well as his fasting regime because I do water fasting regularly or I do intermittent fasting or all fasting regularly. And because of that, he was able to, yeah, become the better version of himself. He lost a great amount of weight. Like, sometimes when you see someone transform themselves and like you've seen them go from how they were to becoming really, really big. Like, and they've been big for so long that you forgot how they used to look like unless you take a look at pictures and then they lose that weight and you're like, oh wow, this is how you used to look like, bro. Like, yeah, man. I mean, we will talk about it sometimes. I was like, and even be like, yo, man, wow, I was actually like slimmer before. Like, this is how my face used to look. And then, yeah, lo and behold, that actually helped to propel him to be confident within himself, to go and approach and find the girl that he wants. And mind you, like at the beginning, he did approach and he still got rejected, even though he was a better version of himself. But that didn't stop him from actually going after the person that he wanted, and eventually he found that person. So yeah, I wanted to make this video to speak about that. I know it's a bit of an uncomfortable subject, and I know it's going to make you, it might get some emotions out there, and some people might feel some type of way, and you might be quick to go into the comment section and say something negative. It's not about that. Plus, I don't care about that. I'm here to help the guys that are going through what they're going through, especially in the early 20s. Not just in the early 20s, in the 20s, 30s, or even in the teens. You know, I just want to make sure you understand that this is a safe space. We're creating a community where we can actually talk and share our thoughts and not feel like someone is judging you, because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? The worst thing a guy can go through is thinking to himself, I actually want to share and express how I feel. And then somebody just comes out of the way, but you're the bad people, you're a bad person. Well, shut up. Get the hell out of here. Then we don't need you here. We want people that want to grow, learn, develop, and become a better version of themselves. Whether it takes a long time or whether it goes slow and steady, it doesn't matter, as long as you get to a point where you feel better about yourself. And I want this channel to embody that. So I hope this video help to show you some type of support, at least on understanding of what you're going through, especially when it comes to dating, when you got visual fat, and how damaging it can affect you, and the places it can take you where you feel so alone and so ostracized by society because you don't look like what all of these influencers look like on Instagram or the TikTok or your YouTube or your Twitter, and you end up taking it out on yourself and you feel like you're going to end up being alone for the rest of your life. That's not the truth. You know, for the most part, if you want to improve your game with girls that you like, communication skills is going to be a big part. However, the physical side of it, if you want to look good, you have to do things, and things that's actually going to help you get to the best version of yourself, especially if you want to have that good physique. So that being said, I do have a workout program in my bio that will definitely help you. And if someone's saying, "Oh, yeah, when were you going to tell us about the things that you do?" Guys, I'm trying to make sure that I've been through a lot of these situations where I had this work myself, especially during COVID. It was probably the worst time, one of the worst times of my life, because personal things happened. And I gained weight. And during that time, I was like, I don't like this feeling. I don't like how I look. And if you've seen some of my videos, you've seen my before. And I know some people have seen my before. They're like, ah, damn. Hello, bro. What were you eating for? 2, 3? Yeah, so I'm trying to do this whole video in one take without stopping. So bear with me if I do find myself repeating myself. I'm feeling like I feel like we're having a conversation, so I'm just talking as I'm going along. So all these thoughts are coming off my head. Whoa, no diddy. But yeah, I do have a workout plan, and I do recommend you take a look at it, because this is a full workout plan that's going to take you from how you currently look to how you can really be. You know what I'm saying? Someone's coming, and don't just do it for someone, do it for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? The goal, I don't want your goal to just be, oh yeah, I just want to get in shape just because of someone. Don't just do it for someone. Do it for the rest of your life. Do it for how you think. Do it for what you think about yourself. Do it for how you want to look at yourself and be proud. Do it for your approach in your dating life, your personal life, your family, your friends, your relationships, all of these things. You know, so when you're looking at these workouts and any type of workout plan, my focus is to make sure I get everyone that goes on it results. And I was able to achieve these results even with my friend without having to deal with or take protein shake, without having to take any enhancements. The focus was on just food, eating routine, as well as just a normal workout, like a specific tight niche workout that focuses on fat reduction and making sure you build muscles. Or depending on what the outcome is, then you probably have like a one-on-one coaching with me. But for the most part, I would recommend go to my link in my bio, get to the workout plan, check it out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to lose, you know, and be safe. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, comment, let me know what your thoughts is on about this subject and where you are mentally. Like I said before, it's a safe space to share what you want to share. Yeah, my name is Paul Nation. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Yeah.